Okay, today we're going to have a short little lesson on population density. Now we're going to look specifically at Japan, but a little bit at other countries as well. So first off, what is the population of Japan? 127 million people. Now, why do they have such a problem or such a high population density? This is a topographical map, and it'll show us the landscape of the country. Now, if you look first off, it's a bunch of islands, which limits your space. Secondly, you look at what formed those islands. Those islands were formed by volcanic eruptions, and if you look around here, there are tons of mountains and volcanoes forming Japan, the country of Japan. Now, a problem with that is mountains and volcanoes and very steep cliffs don't make very good farmland. So if you look, there are relatively, in this somewhat decent sized country, there are relatively small areas where people can actually inhabit and farm and be able to provide a sustainable society. Now, this is a picture of a park in Japan. Now, once again, I want you to look at the population density. Compare it to parks that you have in your own communities. Is it the same? Is it different? Is it very much different? Now, and this is kind of one of the things that I do with my students is I ask them how they got to school this morning. And, ride bikes, cars, whatever. But we talk about carpooling. Now, this is a picture not of Japan, but of India. And these are people getting to and from work. It's really hard to tell, but that's a train. They are holding on to a train to get where they need to go. This is a picture of a swimming pool in Japan. And once again, with my students, I ask, how many of them are lifeguards? And can you imagine being a lifeguard at this pool? Can you imagine how disgusting the water would be in a pool with this many people in it? This is the workday commute in Japan. These two right here are not necessarily police officers, but their sole job is to cram as many people into this subway car as possible. So your ride to work would be, you smashed up against the window and a bunch of strangers smashed up into you, and that would be your daily commute. This is an interesting picture. I asked my students what this is, and it looks kind of like the skyline of a city, but this is actually a cemetery. And if you look at some of these, well, I guess tombstones, you'll see that there's different kind of shapes to them. And this is signifying different people. This is, your grandmother, and this is somebody down the street. Some possible solutions. These are what they kind of call business hotels. That you have a little TV in there and you have a bed, and that's basically it. The bathroom's down the hall. You got to get up this little ladder. These are business hotels in Japan. This one I really like. These are parking garages in Japan, and what happens is they're basically like a high-rise. You drive your car in here, and the lift pulls it clear up and, puts it in slot D7 or whatever. And then when you're ready to pick up your car, give them your ticket and it'll get your car kind of like a valet. So that's just a little bit about population density, specifically in Japan, but in different parts of the world as well.